What is the fastest you have ever seen a new coworker get fired? As a teenager, I worked at a bowling alley. Within an hour, a new girl was fired on the spot for dropping a ball on the foot of a complaining patron. 4 or so hours. When I was 18, I got a job at a grocery store, along with 3 others. We all started training together. On the first day we were training in the evening, and one girl asked to go home. She said her head hurt. They said fine, she clocked out, went to grab a grocery cart and started filling it with beer and liquor. The store manager walked over and asked her if she was having a party. She said yes. Didn't even try to come up with an excuse. Just, yeah, I am, so I needed to leave early on my first day. Basically. He fired her. This one just gets me because all she had to do was go to a different store. There had to be another liquor store nearby. All she had to do was have a different brain too. He didn't show up the first day, second day, or third day. I had to work a double shift for 3 days straight. Not fun. I answered the phone when he finally called in on the 4th day. He said, "I'm going to be honest with you, I've been in Orlando. My parents paid for a small vacation as a reward for getting the job. Would it be okay to start next week instead of this week?" What better way to celebrate the end of unemployment than taking a little break from work? I worked at a hotel. A good housekeeper got her cousin hired, so they had a party. Cousin was found asleep in a bed on her first day, fired instantly. Took me a second to realize it was a bed at the hotel and not her bed. But wouldn't that just be something? You're fired, what, why? It's my first day. We got some disturbing news that you sleep during your off hours, and we just can't have that type of person in this company. Guy slept through 2 meetings on his first day. The second meeting he started snoring. Knew a very senior engineer who would routinely do this, but when you threw a question at him, he answered it without even opening his eyes. Not sure how he managed that. I get really sleepy in long meetings when the room is warm, always, and I don't get to talk much. I don't realize I'm drifting off. I can still answer questions though, and I am usually the one taking the minutes, which always come out perfect, so people sorta have gotten used to it. We have one meeting room that is notorious for this. It's glass on 3 sides, and the afternoon sun hits at the perfect angle to make the room intensely warm while also making everyone squint. Visiting auditors have fallen asleep on more than one occasion, and we have noticed the ones who don't fall asleep tend to become very docile and give up around 2 p.m. Edit. We refer to the sweet sleepy auditors as kittens. How did the audit go? Oh, it was fine. He was a total kitten by day 3. Edit 2. Our office does daily mindfulness meditation for those who want to. We had to stop using that meeting room because too many people were falling asleep. Nobody wants to be visualizing their place of calm and be interrupted by a coworker snoring in the seat next to them. Before their first day on orientation. I got hired for a manufacturing job through Manpower, a temp agency. Me and a friend of my wife were both supposed to start on Monday at the plant for a week-long orientation. She got into a fender bender on her way to orientation, and called them to say that she'd be a bit late, that she just needed to wait on the police to give a statement. The manager told her not to bother ever coming in. Girl was torn up. She took pictures and the police report into the hiring manager, tried to explain things to the company, our managers, but no dice. She was fired before ever clocking in. Oh man, that stinks. It was out of her control, mostly. Guy got hired, went through training and all that jazz. First day on the floor, he disappeared for 3 hours and then came back high as duck on like meth or something. A manager found him in the bathroom aisle, staring at himself in the mirror. Said manager looked at the cameras after firing him. The guy was there staring at himself for at least 30+ minutes. Shrooms are the original face-changing app? Edit. I am now 7x my karma after a year on Reddit. Thanks for the wonderful words. 3 hours into the first shift. Guy lost it serving an annoying customer in a grocery shop, throw a cabbage at her. The manager came and told him to go home cause he finished there. He wasn't surprised. I was standing next to him, it was an entertaining day. Did she deserve the cabbage? As a grocery store employee, they all deserve the cabbage. A man was hired to do stock at a tea store that sold lots of delicate china. Manager walked into the back on his 3rd day and saw him just throwing boxes of teacups and teapots. Instantly fired. Wasn't a bull disguised as a man, was he? A minotaur? A manotaur. Don't tell Phantom Limb. Coworker. Smoke like every 40 minutes for like 10 minutes, then ask the boss if he could leave an hour early because he didn't take his lunch break. As my boss said, sure you can, but you don't need to come back. Where I worked, my boss gave benefits for workers who didn't smoke. This happened because smoking is really popular in my state. I called a temp agency to get someone to help me count inventory. They sent a guy over with a cast on his arm. That was my first WTF, but I went with it because we were just counting parts. Then I came back from lunch and this dude was in my office chair, zoned out and drooling on himself with a can of air duster in his lap. I kicked him awake and escorted him out of my warehouse. Never used that temp agency again. Air duster, like most inhalants, can kill you in a snap. Lucky you found an idiot and not a corpse. This was just a summer job at a fast food place. We had a new girl start, and within 2 days it was apparent she was an idiot and everyone knew that. You could already see the manager questioning his decision. Then on her third day of work she said she couldn't come in because her mom was in a car accident and in the hospital. Turns out that's an easy thing to disprove in a relatively small town. I was fired on my second day as a line cook at a Mitzel's restaurant in Washington State back in the 90s. Turns out I was hired just to threaten the job security of a longtime line cook with an attitude problem, to keep him in line. He got the message and apologized to the manager, and I was fired for breaking a yolk when flipping fried eggs one time. I'd been a line cook for a few years by then and thought I was doing pretty good. I was taken out the back door and terminated on day 2. Edit, this really seems to be blowing up. Happened in Oak Harbor back in mid-1990s, so yes, I did find another job since then. I was pissed, but got over it quickly. Cooking for a living was hard work, standing in a hot kitchen for 10 hours at a time, going home splattered with grease, getting yelled at by waitstaff and management. I don't do it anymore. Thanks for all the hugs awards, guys. That's ducked up. About 35 minutes I hired a guy to work for me as quality inspector for merchandise headed to Walmart Target. He bragged about everything he stole from his last job during training and how they paid him more than I did. Well, I'm not holding him back from all that money, so I had some big guys escort him off the property. Had a guy say similar things about his old job once, and that they were really positive about him. Manager was happy to hear he would not be without a job for long when he fired him. Why even say stuff like that? New guy started on Monday and was gone by Friday. The guy hit some racking in the warehouse with the forklift, boss saw him do it, and the guy decided to lie about it when asked if he knew what happened. Well, get someone to clean that up. We the ones that gotta clean it up. Damn it, Michael. This guy hadn't even started yet and just had his introductory email sent out to the whole company, which ended with incredibly explicit details about himself. He got fired before he even started. Email edit, wow, this is blowing up. I don't have a lot more context I can give as it all happened so fast. Somehow the company deleted the email from our cloud inboxes when this was sent, but not before a colleague grabbed a screenshot of it first. He was going to be a tier 2 tech for the company I work at a couple of years back. He supposedly apologized profusely, saying his friend played a prank on him, but the damage had already been done. WTFFFFF, this is insane. Lamau, I was like, okay. That's cool. Fair enough. This isn't too bad. Wait, what? I was cool with it until I'm into leather and kink play. I mean, I'm still cool with it, but just not on a job introduction. Oh, I've got one for this. I was hired to do tech support in a call center. On our first day of training there were about 30 of us in a room and we each had our own computer. The instructor said it was okay to use the computer for personal stuff during downtime, but the only rules were no games and no porn. One guy got fired before lunchtime, because he just couldn't resist the porn. Kids, this is what an actual porn addiction looks like.